Hello and welcome to a brand new episode, a live Five Heart podcast, exclusively, why not, for you good folks here on YouTube, Facebook, and X. I'm your host, Greg Mahochko, my wonderful co-host and friend, Minnie Hunt. Minnie, great to see you. Great to see the Chatterfields are already active tonight. Mr. Raji said 9 o'clock, let's get the party started. We apologize because I'm dealing with some horrendous, slow-moving laptop computer situation that caused me to be unable to do anything productive here for about the last 5 minutes. So, but the party has started. Minnie, how are you doing?
I'm doing much better than you, Greg. I'm not having a Greg day, Greg evening.
Yeah, first it was a Greg haircut that I gave Robert last week, and now it's a Greg evening. And but you know what? It's also courtesy of living in Omaha, David Matney, the official realtor of the Five Heart Podcast. It is a good evening. So
it's a good evening.
Mr. Rostowski, we finished step 14 last week, sir. We were here. Where were you? No kidding. No, it's going to be, hey, look, it's a great evening. It's a great show. I am so excited to here at 9:05 open up the format, open up the notes, and see what exactly you have in store for me and the good people of the Chatterfields tonight. Minnie Hunt, what?
That's a good idea.
There's more.
We have a lot of surprises up our sleeve yet.
Not as many as last week. Last week was a riot.
No.
All I can say, last week was so much fun. I belly laughed. It's like that country song, I laughed until I cried. It was so great. It was exceptionally memorable. I've still got the mullet here right next to me on my desk.
What's the country song that you're talking about?
I think it's called We Laughed Until We Cried.
No, never heard of that.
By Jason Aldean. So It's not even like a 40-year-old song.
That's why I haven't heard of it.
Because it's not a 40-year-old song?
Yes. For the most part, 99% of the country I like is old.
Yeah, that's, yeah. And I'll say this. There's worse country music out there than Jason Aldean. But
he's pretty good. Yeah.
Mr. Raji wants to know if Minnie, do you want the Greg haircut?
Never. No, I'm trying to talk him into getting my haircut. Let it grow.
The Farrah Fawcett?
Yes.
Feathered and wavy and just all around glamorous?
I'm bringing it back.
Let's see.
5 Heart show at a time.
Speaking of, Fred says this is the 401st 5 Heart because that's how numbers work, so I hear.
That's so true.
And Mr. Matney's not wrong. He says it seems like it's been 6 weeks since we last played some football.
I know, it's been forever. And we're halfway through. That's not necessarily true, actually.
Not necessarily true. Actually, what?
Probably not true that I just said that.
Oh, because you said we're halfway through.
Yes. Didn't we decide we could actually play up to 18 games? No. What was it?
16, I think. So you have 12 regular season. And then you have conference championship. Then, what is it? I guess there's 3 rounds, right? Unless you're the conference champion, you have the bye week. There's, I think, 3 rounds of the playoffs. So, yeah, you're probably looking at 16 games. So,
yeah, that's a lot of games. Oh boy.
Vince Watson says, I want to see pictures of when Minnie had 80s hair. Well, the 80s, the 80s kind of, what geographic region were you living in the 1980s?
The same as I am now.
Okay, well, I didn't know if you were alive longer. But it's my understanding that the 80s hit Arizona about the same time they hit Canada, which would be like 1995.
That's incorrect. We do not. This is not another country, Greg. Unlike Illinois.
Illinois was around long before Arizona. I don't know if you know how it works.
Okay.
No, so anyway, we do have a great show for you this evening, and eventually I will get to the point where I can open up the format and tell you more about it. Right, kids? That's what we all want to know is what's going on with the show this week. How about those
Nebraska issues? Are you having issues, Greg?
I don't think so.
Okay. Can you open it? Can you open it?
I am. I was just distracted by something else. I was trying to open a file, trying to enhance the show visually, bring one of the chatter fields on screen in a really big and memorable way, which I've received his clearance to do so. What are you doing now?
Oh, that's cool. Well, I just wanted to comment, since you're taking your sweet time getting ready for the show, and we're already 6 minutes and 24 seconds in. Judas Priest. I went to see them in concert, and the lead singer's bald, so that's not the hairstyle I want.
First of all, there's nothing. Bald is beautiful. Okay, let's not shame bald people. That's how dare you.
You may want the Judas Priest. I do not.
And so I shaped 2012. I joined a Relay for Life team out in Salem, where we were living at the time, and we were the Bald Men Walking. And so every year in June, I think, is when they had the Relay for Life. A bunch of us guys, let's see, 2012, I was 30 at the time. A bunch of us guys would get together and shave our heads, and we'd walk in the Relay for Life in support of the people who didn't have a choice on whether or not they had hair or not. So
very nice.
Still have the t-shirt.
I mean, if I were bald, it actually wouldn't be a bad thing.
See?
I'll just throw on my red wig.
You do have one of those. We found out last week. So, so anyway, where are we starting the show tonight?
Well, okay, let's do this, because this is what you sent me and I forgot to add it to the front. This okay?
I mean, I can't see anything, so yeah. Yep, that's it.
That. Did you see it?
I do see it. So On 3 named their mid-season true freshman All-American team. And what you see there in this picture that was shared on social media by, I saw it on X. I'm sorry, I saw it on X. On Husker football was obviously Dylan Raiola, Ja'Cory Barning Jr. are on the mid-season true freshman All-American team, which I want your thoughts on the selection, Minnie. And then I have thoughts. So I'll let you go first.
Well, it's a given. Absolutely. Duh. What do I need to say more?
Okay, so this is what I'll say. Okay. It used to be, I'm going to be like my old man yelling at clouds, like, get off my lawn. Not the clouds, but, anyway. You had the All-American team. You had All-Americans. And now we have mid-season true freshman All-American team. They might as well be like mid-season All-American, and if there's an A in your last name, you have an advantage team. It's like we're getting into the pretty specific, like next year, everybody's going to be a mid-season All-American because they'll have everything. It's that intersectionality that, I'm happy for these guys, but at the same time, let's just not worry about mid-season accolades. Is that wrong to say? I feel like you're gonna bash me, shame me.
Okay, I have a prediction to make. I believe when Dylan Raiola is finished with college football and moves on to the pros, I think there will be an award after him.
At Nebraska or in college overall?
In college overall, because he probably will be the one of the best freshman quarterbacks of all time.
But you're talking about his entire career, not just the freshman year.
Okay, yes, true. But I'm just saying, there's nothing wrong with giving awards. Greg?
I'm here. I'm listening. I thought you were going to go further into, like, I feel like John.
Okay. Oh, no. That's not good.
Well, and Rostowski, great to see Aaron here. Greg, you should talk about Raiola's struggle throwing the ball deep so you can get the same fury John got last night. And Raji says that's a bold statement, that there's going to be the Dylan Raiola Award. Let me say this, and I'm very happy that Nebraska has Dylan Raiola, that he chose Nebraska over Ohio State, Georgia, Louisiana Tech. I don't care. I'm very happy he's a Husker, and I'm very excited for his future. But the mid-season true freshman All-American team in the grand scheme of things means diddly shot.
Okay. Can we move on? I'm getting roasted over here in comments by people.
Why? How? Who?
Someone asked me if I was drunk. Someone's like...
Corey says a Dylan Raiola quarterback award. That's kind of dizzy, Minnie, what are you drinking tonight?
Gatorade.
Minnie, I know we're not celebrating the 400th episode, but Minnie, what are you drinking?
Greg, don't do it. Don't do it.
Don't do what, Minnie?
I know what you're gonna do.
I'm just asking a question.
Okay, Greg, what are you drinking?
That is a really, really great question, Minnie. And you know what? I want to answer that question in the form of a song. What's Greg drinking today? What's Greg drinking today? Whoa. I'm sorry. I'm all out of the dank meme beer that I had last week. So we're going.
Goodness.
Just going back to Yuengling. The standard. You know, we're going to talk tonight, I think, about taking the standard to Bloomington. Yuengling's traditional lager, the original amber beer from America's oldest brewery, Pottsville, PA. It's the standard.
Pottsville? Where's Pottsville?
I'm not a. I almost said an almanac, but that's not the thing. I'm not a globe. I'm not a map. I don't know.
Okay.
What I do know is that, you know what? That's right. Fred says, "Here comes the logo."
Whoa.
Okay, says, "Here we go."
Okay, Greg. I have a question. How long have you been getting what?
Aaron Keene says, "Jazz hands." Jazz hands. Oh God, I love this group.
Great.
Yes, ma'am. Sorry, boss.
How long have you been preparing for tonight's episode? Since
it is
we had a bye last week.
It is 9:17 on the night of the show. So 6 or 7 minutes.
Really?
Oh I mean, what do you expect? I'm a very busy man.
I kind of have been expecting a little more from you lately.
I don't know why. You should know me better than that.
Okay, let's do this.
I don't have a format.
Did I not share it with you?
I mean, I have the one, the surprise, if you will, but I don't have the format.
Oh, I forgot to share it. Would you like
see?
it? I know.
I mean, are we gonna? Living in Omaha, David May says 5 Heart Podcast is 5 minutes. In 5 minutes is Laney. That's right. Thank you, Marianne. My lack of preparation has really endeared me to the fans. So,
oh my gosh. Did you at least read the description of tonight's show?
You know what? No. But we did write it together. Let's not forget. We wrote it together.
No. No, you gave an idea. That does not mean you wrote anything.
You know what? In Hollywood, that would be a writing credit. So, all right, let me open up the access is denied, by the way, on the format. So I guess.
Oh, what? What the
Just
heck
saying.
is going on here?
All right, you figure that out. While you do that, I will read the description.
Okay.
What is this strange feeling? It feels strange, but also really good. I think it's what some people call hope. By the way, I warned her about that line. She didn't listen. Yes, as a fan base, we haven't dared have hope for many years. Not to relive the past decade, but every time we had enough enthusiasm to hope, we were taken out with a sledgehammer at the ankles, a la Stephen King's Misery, crippling all further dreams of the Huskers ever being good again. Nebraska's 5-1. The Hoosiers are 6-0, and both teams are coming off a bye week. Saturday will be a showdown in Bloomington, Indiana at 11 a.m. Central. Nebraska is the underdog this week, with Indiana being 6.5-point favorite. The Cornhuskers are very familiar with being the underdogs, especially the veterans on the team who come back for another year to prove that this team that began a rebuild last season is a winner. Indiana, on the other hand, is in the first year of their rebuild. Curt Cignetti is a good head coach whose record at his previous school shows he knows how to win. However, this is the Big Ten, and winning here ain't that easy. Just as Scott Frost got it. This season, Indiana has defeated UCLA and Northwestern, both in the Big Ten, but both are in major overhaul mode after losing their head coaches. UCLA this season, Northwestern last season. As Husker fans, we've been here before. It's hard to drink the Roulade after so many disappointments, but tonight we will echo the sentiments that Andy Dufresne wrote in Stephen King's The Shawshank Redemption. Remember, Red, hope is a good thing, maybe the best of things, and no good thing ever dies. Remember that, Red, and go Big Red.
It's pretty good.
Me and Will Compton, we should start a hype company together.
You should. You absolutely should, Greg. I would definitely listen in. Although you would have to wear your mullet wig in order for me to watch.
No, that's cool. So just looking at Google. Yeah, all right. So I have finally, I think, maybe able to open up the notes. Yes. That means that we get to start this show the way we should start a lot of the shows, and that's with housekeeping. We're going to get housekeeping out of the way. So you're not going to have to hear me all night long say, hey, if you're over there on YouTube, make sure that you hit like, subscribe to the Corn Nation YouTube channel if you haven't already. Make sure you ring that bell for notifications. Every time it's a new stream for the 5 Heart Podcast or Monday Night Therapy, which sometimes apparently happens on Wednesday, or a new Corn Nation Overreaction, or Husker Happy Hour, or John's Instant Reaction, or anything else on the Corn Nation YouTube channel, make sure you ring that bell for notifications. And in the instance of a pre-recorded Corn Nation Overreaction, we tend to drop those to members a little sooner than the general public. So make sure, especially if you're a member, that you have your notifications turned on. And if you're not a member yet, it's never too late to get a membership. Also, John has books. You know that. He's been dead. You know that. He's never been to Europe. You probably know that as well. Support John in his authorial career. He has 3 books. I've only got the 1 picture because I'm a slacker. But also at the same time, you can support the show by getting your merch, like the Corn Nation official Corn Nation shirt at cobbycorn.com. Minnie, am I missing anything in the grand realm of housekeeping?
Yeah, because you know why? Because you made me edit down the notes to just read housekeeping. You no longer say, join our family.
Oh, that's right. I would think that by the virtue of them being here that they're kind of already in the fan family.
Yeah.
And you know what? Fan family, I'm going to move my microphone a little bit. This hug's for you. There we go. Great big hug. Great big hug for the fan family.
That was very nice, Greg.
Okay.
What are you doing now?
It was blurry. The camera was a little blurry. You just go across in it.
Okay.
Jason, no. Fred says, I need an adult. And before we go on with the rest of the show, I would like to share a Fred experience that he had this week. And he emailed me to tell me about it. He said that his life is complete. It's the best year ever. He has officially met all of his heroes.
Oh.
At our Coronation meetup the night before the Colorado game, he said, "Oh, I got to meet John." I emailed back, so like offended. He's like, "Oh yeah, Haas was there too." But this week, he got to meet a real American hero.
Who? Oh, right on. That's so awesome.
Crashing down and it hurts inside. Bum, 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 ba-da-da-da.
Is it just me, or does Fred look like he could take Hulk Hogan?
It's just you.
Jeez, I bet he could.
I mean, Hulk Hogan's also like 77 years old, so. And he's had back surgery and hip surgery and knee surgery.
Okay.
But he was in Omaha, and I believe he's in Lincoln around this time, promoting his real American beer. So doing some. I know he was in not Chicago. He was in Champaign a few weeks ago. A guy I work with actually went up there. So that's cool. Fred, thank you for sharing that. Hey, you know, like I said, we're here to celebrate not just the Huskers, but this community that we have cultivated, created, this group. So, you know, things like this, like share, if you want us to share glimpses of your life on the show with you know, in one shot without having to, you know, I'm not gonna, but like without having to send an email to Justin Raj or Jason Reeves or Rostowski, if you just want to be like, hey, this week, you know, tell the people about this, or you know, he actually sent it to me and I said, could I share that with the Chatterfields? He's like, that's fine. But again, he marked it down as his hero bucket list or whatever is complete. So because of Hulk, John, and Haas. So
I have a question.
I have an answer.
Why is it one of his heroes? Why is Hulk Hogan one of his heroes?
Well, you see that the Hulkamania shirt, like Fred's a Hulkamaniac.
Okay.
You have to understand, for a generation of men who grew up in the 80s, early 90s, like Hulk Hogan was everywhere. He's like Superman. It's
okay.
He was a real life hero. So
I get that. Okay. I didn't mean to hero shame. Not what I was doing. Jeez.
It's always some type of shaming, isn't it, David? Good Lord. So, Fred, thank you so much for sharing that. And Rostowski says, I can share about my life. I'll be emailing you pictures of my last 5 Lego builds shortly. In that case, Aaron, let's just do one, like your favorite of the bunch. So, certain generation of us grew up, Cold War era was all about America back then. Brother, you know, Minnie Jean, me and these 24-inch pythons, we're gonna run wild. What you gonna do when Hoochomania runs wild on you?
I do remember this. Okay.
Yeah.
Thanks for the flashback.
The rock and wrestling connection is wild. It was a good time to be alive in the 80s. Kids now don't know what it was like.
Okay, great. Can we get going, please?
Like, do we have a lot to talk about tonight?
Yeah.
Okay, let's go.
We do.
Let's do it.
New Blackshirts. I have to say, Melissa was right on target last week when she said, give that man a black shirt. You know who she said that about?
Sia, right?
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
This guy. Number 15 on defense.
Yes, ma'am. There's something about number 15. It's magical.
It is magical. Do you want to talk about him or do you want me to?
Well, of course, he's the quarterback transfer from Southern Cal. He's really made an impact in the with the injury of plantar fasciitis that has been bothering Tommy Hill. 16 tackles, 1 TFL, a sack, 1 interception, 4 pass deflections over the last 6 games, 2 starts in the time. Now, I think we heard that prior to the Rutgers game, Tommy was going to try to make it on the field, but like his plantar fasciitis burst or something, which is supposed to relieve the pressure, but I'm sure it hurt like the dickens when it happened. So I don't know Tommy's status for this week. You may, because of all the extra press conferences and content that you consume. But we were talking Monday night when we were doing the Coronation Overreaction, like there's got to be a way to adjust the secondary a little bit to be able to get Sia Wright, Tommy Hill, Marquise Buford, Deshaun Singleton all on the field at the same time. So.
Do you want to hear my thoughts?
Well, do I ever ask you if you want to hear my thoughts? Just talk. Like, don't be so polite.
Okay, Greg, I will. It's called a dime defense, right? That's what they were practicing that this summer. They talked about it. So yeah, they can do it. They can run that kind of defense. Are you looking it up?
No. I was looking at plantar fasciitis.
Okay.
Well, because Rostovsky says I've never heard of plantar fasciitis bursting or rupturing being a good thing, at least short term. So I'm just looking it up. It said a ruptured plantar fascia can cause the following symptoms: pain, swelling and bruising, difficulty walking, a popping sound. They are relatively uncommon, but they are more likely to occur in people with chronic plantar fasciitis, flat feet, or who participate in certain sports. A tear or to treat a ruptured plantar fascia, you can take pain medicine, medication, ice the area, wear a protective boot to stabilize the foot, and an MRI can help diagnose ruptured plantar fascia and rule out other conditions that cause heel pain. So, I was looking to see like turnaround time, but we might not see. I don't wish this necessarily, but like Tommy Hill might need a couple more weeks. We might see him after the next bye week. I don't know.
Yeah.
So.
Okay.
That's not the only black shirt, though, Minnie, that was handed out, was it?
Oh, no, it wasn't. Good point.
Do you see how I
forgot where we were. Okay. This guy.
Nope.
Wait, that's not even.
That's not him.
That's him, but he's wearing the wrong number. It's when he first came.
Oh, that's Brian. He looks like he's a long snapper there.
I know he does.
What are we doing here?
Okay, nothing. Let's just. Oh my gosh,
that was horrible.
Okay. My gosh, it was. I'm sorry. I don't know what I was doing.
It's okay. You look, see if there's something else. I'll tell the good people who are joining us here. They've been very patient so far. I'll tell them about the other black shirt that was handed out to a non-defensive player, and that would be Brian Boomshini, the punter, who is 7th in the country in average yards per punt at 47.6 yards. And this was a special request by the defense. They request that he be given a black shirt. Now, you may know his story. He came to Nebraska as a transfer from Montana in 2022. He was recognized in 2021 while at Montana as the FCS top punter, and he regressed a little bit last year. When he got here in 22, he was averaging 44 yards per punt. In the fourth game, he had an ankle injury. And last year he averaged 40.7 yards. I remember a lot of shanks last year, but he's got it straightened out. And honestly, his ability to flip the field, I think we talked about it. There he is. His ability to flip the field in that Rutgers game was critical to Nebraska's win.
Yes, it was. And I'm so glad that. I mean, did you talk about when he got injured in 2022?
Yeah, I mentioned it. The ankle injury of the plant foot while tackling the Oklahoma punt return. So,
because even though he came back after that, like he had some pretty long yardage before that, even though he came back and was able to kick after, they weren't as long, his kicks. So I think it just kind of took time for him to heal and get back, because then you'll see, like in 2023, it was kind of like not as good even as 2022 or his previous years at Montana. But it seems like he's got it back together now. Like he's all healed up, and it's just exciting to see him reach that potential.
And he got broken in damn half on his first punt attempt in that Rutgers game. So that was brutal. But no, I'm happy for the young man. He has, like I said, he's made a difference this year. When we talk about, I think other shows more so who have said, we'll lose one game, at least one game due to our special teams. Mm-hmm. We can, I think, really hang the Rutgers game on Brian Buschini as a win. That was, he's a net positive for the team, for the special teams, etc.
It's true.
Melissa says if we quit getting him killed and blocked, that's you're not wrong, Melissa. But you know what? I've noticed, and not just when she agrees with me, which is abundant. Thank you, Melissa. But Melissa's not too wrong too often. So.
I don't think she agrees with you very often, actually.
I guess we'll just leave it up to her. Melissa, do you think you agree with me a lot or no? So, all right. Where are we going next, boss?
All right, Greg. Did you see the Chasing 3?
I did, but I saw it.
Episode 5?
Sunday or Monday. So I'm up to speed on it. Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Yeah. What'd you think of it?
It was good. There's that countdown wall that, they're before they head out, through the tunnel, when Matt Rule makes his final, pitch to the team, when he's, the final moments, final speech, that I wish I had that wall like right here. I want that wall in my house. I want that wall to be like counting down to I don't care if it's a minuscule thing. The ready room, Mr. Rostovsky. But I just want that counting down to 8 minutes till we have to get out of the house for school and daycare in the morning, or that's
a good idea.
8 minutes to bedtime. I don't know why I go default to 8 minutes, but I just want this wall right here to be a gigantic LED screen with a countdown on it. So
that is such a great idea. And then if the twins are ready in enough time, they can sit down and watch Sesame Street for a couple minutes.
They ask every morning. They ask, can we turn on TV? They want to watch Spidey and Friends or something. I'm like, not till we get breakfast in you, clothes changed, gone potty, teeth brushed, and we got to get your brother moving too, big brother. And it's like, only when we all are ready and we have some extra time can we sit down and watch some TV. So,
well, I remember that.
So
you run late everywhere when you have toddlers.
mm-hmm.
So that's true. That is a really awesome wall. And it would be a huge improvement on your background.
What?
Oh my God. Great. I don't know how you managed, but it looks very gray again.
I thought you were going to say, I don't know how you managed, but you made it look worse than before.
I was going to say that, but I didn't want to use those words. Oh my gosh, Greg. Yes.
Couldn't help.
Crazy.
That's right, Islander. Thank you. Aaron Key says, I picture Greg's ready room, including wall of boob lights as he gives the don't shit on the floor speech.
Poor kids.
Awesome. That'd be great. Aaron, let's make it happen, Captain. All right, where are we going to next?
Okay. Well.
Oh, yeah. Chasing 3.
Chasing 3. They were talking about, it was all about the game leading up to Rutgers and the game, Rutgers. And they were talking about how the effort is everything. You get in or you get out what you put in. And he said that they need to focus on preparation. So they kept showing the guys like watching film, preparing for Rutgers. And then they did a little snippet of Emmett Johnson, because he's one of the running backs that has been there. Gosh, he's been there, since 2020. So he's been there 4 years now. And kind of what he does. Yeah.
Emmett Johnson?
When did we play Ireland? That was his 21? Was it 21?
That was 22.
Was it 22?
Yeah.
Okay, that was 2 years. Close.
2 years, 4 years. What's the difference?
Okay. Do you want to just take over, Greg?
Sure.
Anyways, Emmett Johnson was talking about focus on efficiency, and that even though if he doesn't have football or, Melissa, if he doesn't have football or school that day, he'll still wake up early.
Yeah, can he teach that to my boys?
I know. He sounds like such a great kid.
Honestly, no, because the twins already get me up at 10 after 6 on Saturdays. And I just have to tell them, like, you don't have to do that. You can sleep in. It's okay. Dad would also like to sleep in. So.
Did we win the Blarney Stone? Fred.
Well, because you said we played Ireland, not we played in Ireland. So.
Oh, that's right. I did say that.
That would be.
I don't want to know. I don't want to remember who we played at all.
But let me put this out there. I think in this scenario where it's like country, let's ramp it up to the Olympics. I think, or World Cup, some international competition. I think that if I'm America and I best you, France, in whatever, that like till the next Olympics, I get to have the Eiffel Tower. Like we'll put that shit in, next to Mount Rushmore or something. I don't know. It's not realistic, but maybe something smaller. I don't know.
Like the key to France.
That's right. It magically opens every key.
Okay. Okay. So again, they focus on watch tape, which they've been watching tape on Indiana. And Rule gave one of his, coined speeches. Are you a lion or a sheep?
It's a really good question.
Everything in life. Either you're a lion or a sheep. Sounds like something my dad would have said. Which are you, Greg?
Well, I'm a sheep. I'm self-aware enough to know. Total sheep.
It's okay, Greg. You don't need to be a lion. You have a lion's heart.
Oh, thanks. I don't know what that means, but thanks.
Like in the Wizard of Oz.
No, he asked for courage.
Yeah, that's what you need.
And maybe a brain too. I don't know. The naive. All right. Yeah, it was really fantastic. That ready room speech before Rutgers, like I was ready to go running through the wall. I have that like cartoon silhouette of Greg, through the drywall. That's great.
With his big muscles.
Yeah, that's me to a T. I am known for my big muscles. Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. Well, that's your cartoon character.
No, it's gonna be like love handles and a little doughy in the midsection.
Oh my gosh. All right.
Thanks, MK.
Nice.
Meg McKenzie's back here with us tonight, and
she has the coolest avatar picture of herself. Her hair's like a purplish blue in the light. It's really cool. What?
We've already talked about hairstyles at the top of the show.
Okay, true. All right.
Good press conferences.
Mm-hmm.
There were a lot of them.
This week, we started off with Matt Rule, Marcus Satterfield, Tony White, and then a bunch of players. Oh. She used an AI app.
That's called cheating, Megan.
Well, she typed in, this is purple hair, blue hair. Light surrounding.
Thanks, Marianne.
That's what you need to type into your AI, Greg.
I used to. I don't know if I could find the character, but I used to be able to do like a little Pillsbury Doughboy voice, and I'd be like, "Let me take a little drink here." I don't think this will be a copyright strike, but the Pillsbury Doughboy always says, "Nothing says loving like my muffins from the oven." Something like that.
Close.
Yeah, it was off. At some point I hit puberty. All right, so let's move on.
This is so true. What Andrew Curtis said, I was freaking out the whole time John Bullock was talking. I'm like, is he allowed to say all that stuff? We're going to disguise this and we're going to do this. Is that what you're talking about? It seemed like they were giving up like our game plan defensively. I think that's what he's talking about. Anyways.
Yeah, yep. That wasn't in the notes, so I wasn't prepared for that particular question. But Andrew, if that's what your observation was, I agree.
I didn't want to, I didn't want to talk about it, but since he's talking about it, can't resist. Okay.
Back on target. Back on track.
Just in case anyone from Indiana's watching. Okay.
That's right. We are talking about how we need more misdirection in the running game. Maybe it's misdirection on the defensive side.
That's
good one.
Brilliant. Of course, Aaron Keene would come up with that.
Fred echoes, they're making it up. All a red herring, not a snapper.
Okay.
Strategery, that's a good one.
Marcus Satterfield, we have to do better on third downs. If we can stay on schedule, we're good. Certain downs and distances we have to throw and catch. We aren't as good as we need to be.
Yeah, I don't disagree. We get into third and long, and to borrow his words from Sat there, we get off schedule. We fall behind schedule on where we're trying to be, and we're not playing UTEP anymore. And I remember that UTEP game. I think it was the first drive. We were at 2nd and 30. I was like, oh, here we go. And 2 plays later, we're at first down, and I think in the red zone. But we're not playing UTEP anymore. Now we're in Big Ten play, and we're going up against an Indiana team on the road. They're undefeated. We'll talk more about Indiana as we go, along tonight. But yeah, we haven't played a complete game, and I don't think we've played to the offense's potential. So, no arguments with Sat there.
Yep. He also said we must be able to utilize the perimeter with our speed and size wide out. Meaning those guys got to get open. They got to.
They do. And
no more dropped balls.
I was going to say, and you have to fight for those 50-50 balls.
Yep.
I'd be interested to see if, because we haven't seen it enough, but I'd be interested to see if they work Carter Nelson in a little bit more on the perimeter, because he does have some good speed. He's got the height, certainly. I'd be interested to see if that happens a little more. Otherwise, like we were all very fascinated with Isaiah Nayor and Jamal Banks, and they have some production. I'm not minimizing, but we don't have that go-to downfield threat right now because they're not getting separation. They are not. I don't think either one of them has breakaway speed. Ja'Cory Barney has breakaway speed, but he doesn't have the size. Jalen Lloyd has great speed, but again, doesn't have the size. We need that. And this is tough because they don't make these guys, everywhere, but that Calvin Johnson type of receiver. And I think my thought with Jamal Banks or Isaiah Nayor was that one of those guys was gonna be that type of receiver. And they just haven't got there yet. So
yeah. Yet.
I said yet. Did you hear me? Did you hear me say yet?
Because they had a
No. Did you hear me say yet?
I'm adding to that. I'm echoing your phrase.
I feel like you're trying to correct me again. Barry Podmother over here telling me how to do my job.
I might have been. Okay. So Ty Robinson said the bye week was good and he feels young again. And then when asked about this season's opponents have been in the red zone 13 times with no rushing touchdowns allowed, what's the secret behind the success? And he said, go ahead, you read it.
They don't get in. Plain and simple.
Nope. Come on. Okay, you are a gigantic beast of a football player. Come on, Greg.
Well, if I'm a gigantic beast of a football player, then this is the only way that the football helmet's going to fit on my head. They don't get in. Plain and simple. That's just the mindset, the mentality. That's what we tell each other in the huddle, that they don't get in. Then we go out there and work together.
It's pretty good. That is almost exactly how he said it. No.
You're a little bit insane.
I mean, I'm serious. He had no expression on his face. They don't get in. Just like that.
No, it was like stone cold mindset. He's like, no.
Yeah. I love that. That was really good. Don't you feel good after you get to impersonate big, strong football players?
Yep. Sure does make my whole day better impersonating big, strong, because I could never be one in real life. So If you can't do, teach. And if you can't teach, make fun of that shit on the internet.
Okay. Well, Matt Rule had a press conference today. He said that Tristan will not kick.
Tristan who?
Alfano.
Okay. Were we expecting him to kick?
Yeah, but he's been practicing and they didn't know if he'd be ready to go.
Okay. Well, he's not going to be ready to go.
This injury of his is taking forever. Tired?
I don't sleep well or much. Quantity and quality of my sleep is in the drizzling shits. So, Roger Moore says, can you read this comment, please?
No.
Come on.
You know I can't.
You can.
Guys, come on. Just read it yourself, Craig.
Can't do that.
Yes, you can. Okay, read it like I would say it then. You can impersonate me.
Okay. No go. I'm not. Oh, I can't say that word. Groin.
Oh, geez. All right.
We're having a good time.
So.
Make one person laugh and you feel like you're raised up a notch every day. So thanks, Dave.
Yes. And on Indiana, Matt Rule said they do a tremendous job with their line games and twist games. They've never trailed, so they've had a lead in every game, and they're able to come out and just attack you and rush you. They have a great defense, great design. And then he called out a few players that we're going to talk about later. Okay. I mean, come on, you guys.
We're going to really confuse the people who are just listening to this. By the way, if you're one of those people who are only enjoying this in the audio, in the podcast variety, first of all, thank you. But you're missing like half of the show. Find the video, YouTube, Facebook, find it on X. We're a lot of fun. We have a lot of fun. Fred says that I should do the mini impersonation of haunted houses and scare a ton of kids with it. So,
okay. He also said, what I respect so much about this team that we're facing is that they've outscored opponents in the fourth quarter 80-17. That's how they get it done.
Let me ask you this question. Who do you think wins the fourth quarter on Saturday?
Nebraska.
Roger Moore's like Big Ten refs? Probably.
Nebraska.
Do you think?
I'll tell you why.
Well, hold on.
Oh.
I'm curious to know, but I have another question. Which half do you think is going to be Nebraska's stronger half, the first half or second half?
I think they're going to be equal. I think they're fighting to put the two halves together. I think they're going to come out strong and score. And I also think that our defense is going to hold them and we're going to continue to score in the second half.
Aaron Keene says, I love to have the damn fourth quarter not even matter. I agree. I mean, as long as it favors us. Mr. Curtis says, we win the fourth. Highlander says, the team that wins the game. So he's putting it all on, you win the fourth quarter, you win the game. And I love this idea by Husker Chuck. Get a lead, extend the lead, boot on throat, push down. So, and I don't disagree with Mr. Rostovsky. Now, it was the fourth quarter where Rutgers got their touchdown against us, but Mr. Aaron Rostovsky says, sadly, Indiana's been the much better fourth quarter team, but hopefully we wear them down like we did Rutgers. So And interesting, the reason that I'm highlighting this one, Fred, not that we highlight your stuff all the time, but this is, if we're the same, neither half will be better. We'll just slop around and win ugly again. Let me ask you this, because we always say an ugly win, like it doesn't matter if you win by 1 or 81. An ugly win's still a win, right? And it's a win against the top 20 team on the road in the conference. I'd be happy with an ugly win. I'd like to see it be precise, and I'd like to see it be closer to perfection. But at the same time, I'll take a top 20 road win in conference any week.
Obviously, you don't listen to Matt Rule much.
Okay. Where did I go wrong?
Because basically, he said the opposite of what you just said.
He wants both teams at their best?
No, it's about the process.
I'm a big fan of celebrating the process.
The way that the plays look on film.
I want to highlight this one, give some love over to Facebook with Greg, because Greg asked another question we'll talk to later, or we'll hit up later in the show, but he's watching and has been with us all evening, and win is a win.
That's true. All right.
But you can celebrate the process, but also acknowledge that I'm going to borrow a Haas line, for a team that has not been to a bowl game since the Obama administration.
You're right.
To get that 6th win, that's immediate. I mean, that is marked improvement from last year when we went 5-7.
You're right. Okay.
Diamond Dave says, come on, it's Indiana beating up terrible teams. Huskers will roll. That's the type of optimism we appreciate.
All right, Diamond. Yes.
I don't know why I said it like that. It's just Diamond Dave. Picking on poor Diamond Dave. What the heck do you ever do to you?
I'll tell you why. I'll tell you why.
Oh, Lord.
It's not like Indiana is the same team that they were in years past. Okay? That's why. You can't just assume. That's all. And also, I'm married to him, so I can talk to him like that. Okay?
Let's see. Husker Chuck says Indiana hasn't been 6-0 since the Johnson administration. That's going to open up floodgates for Fred. Imagine the fan base losing their mind. And Marianne says, I think they're saving the complete game for Ohio State. I think, first of all, we talked about this Monday night, obviously went out on Tuesday to everybody, the coronation overreaction. I think that they have been pretty bland and pretty vanilla, especially in the run concepts all season long. But I think you're coming into the obviously the tougher half of the schedule. Indiana, Ohio State, USC, UCLA, Wisconsin. I think those makes it. So it's Ohio State, UCLA, bye week, USC, Wisconsin, and Iowa. You're coming into the tougher half of the schedule. If there's ever a time to start opening up the playbook and having the complete game, and I don't think you can wait for Ohio State. I think you need to double down and secure the win in Bloomington. And I think that'd be a nice precursor, nice tune-up for going into another hostile environment the following week in Columbus. So,
okay.
That's just one man's opinion. And
okay. Somebody said something in the chat, and I can't get my mind off of it because I didn't add it in the notes. So can we address it now?
We must, apparently.
Okay. All right. They did. The Huskers did let us know what the uniforms were going to look like. And, traditionally when we're away, we wear what, Greg?
Red pants and white jerseys.
Yeah.
Oh, God, not the surrender whites.
We're wearing, don't call it that. We're wearing all white.
No. Andrew and I are of one mind tonight. JC says no. This is going to be the worst. Like, all right, this is officially a loss.
Oh,
Fred says, gosh. Surrender white unis. Woohoo. Well, we're losing.
That's the only comment that makes sense. It's the only one. Jeez.
You know what? That's a joke I could tell my mom. Aaron Keene says, all whites equal guaranteed loss. I'm not superstitious, just a little stitious. David Matney says, we are losing by at least 14. Mary Ann says, why? Yuck. And Megan says, very godly.
Thank you, Megan. I agree. Yes.
Nomine Patri, Filii Spiritus Sancti.
Saint Dylan at the helm.
She's just pumped the brakes on that shit.
What?
Saint Dylan. Good Lord. Now, Joe LaLake says Stormtrooper repair will only work if Riola dresses as Darth Vader. Yeah, can he just be out there in pure black? That'd be funny.
And a black floor-length cape.
Andrew says we're going to need God's help if we wear those. And Roger Moore says it's a great Pillsbury look. Fred says 10:04 p.m. Greg finds one of my jokes he can share with his mom, my mom, his mom, whomever. If there's a missing every pass, if there's a sudden blizzard, we could disappear. I think if the game goes historically the way it has when we've worn the other all white surrender white unis, we'll want to disappear. No, I'm not going to read that one. Never mind.
Okay.
What are we doing? What are we doing in these surrender? This is a horrible idea.
Here's the deal, Greg. So this week, I started preparing for this game a long time ago. And by preparing, I mean learning everything I could about Indiana.
This is true.
And one of the things that I did was listen to many hours of Curt Cignetti and his press conferences.
All right. Before we move on, do I have the ability to do away with this god-awful image?
Oh, I will. Gosh.
And while we're doing that, you know what time it is, right?
No.
What's Greg drinking today? What's Greg drinking today? Whoa. It's another Yingling, but, you know, it's fun.
Did you auto-tune that?
No, that's all me. That's the truth. That is all me.
It's actually pretty good. Way better than I could do.
Well, I'm a professional. Or I was at one point in time.
Did you sing?
I have.
What? Really?
Mm-hmm.
Did you try to actually, like, sing in front of people?
I have. Thank you.
Tell us more. Tell us more.
No.
This is interesting. This is something we don't know. Come on.
MK is not far off. MK says choir. It wasn't choir. I just did a... did that sound? No, there's nothing about that sounded good. No, I did used to sing in church as an adult, not in a choir, but like as a song leader. So.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. No, when they're desperate, they'll take any help they can get. Rostowski says, did you sing? Haven't you heard his pipes on this very pod? That's right, I do. Break into song from time to time, randomly, and without reason.
I actually prefer you to rap, though, not necessarily sing.
Noted. Curt Cignetti and his press conferences.
So, they also had a bye week, and so because of that, I've been listening to his press conferences, and I'm sitting here and I'm listening and I'm like, what did he just say? Did he say gone out? And I was like, oh my gosh, he's from Pittsburgh. And the reason I know that is because that's where my dad was from. And you never lose that Pittsburgh accent. And do you want to know what that's called, Greg?
Pittsburghese.
Pittsburghese. They have their own language.
Do you know how I know?
How do you know?
I'm a Steelers fan.
A Stillers.
Steelers.
Not Steelers. Not Steelers. Stillers.
Stillers.
And they say yuns. They're known for that.
More yins. It's more like white.
Yins.
Yin. And is he not yuns, but yins?
And buggy. And red up. So I thought that was really interesting because there's a certain mannerism that somebody from Pittsburgh has. They're very matter of fact.
Yeah.
That's him.
They don't mince words. They don't use 5 words when 2 will do.
Exactly.
There is a great line, and it's actually written by William Shakespeare, and it is in the play Hamlet. Hamlet is full of obviously legendary, to be or not to be. That is the question, whether 'tis noble in mind to suffer the slings and arrows of outrageous fortune. Or also, alas, poor York, I knew him Horatio, a man of infinite jest. But one of my favorite lines, and I learned this way back in broadcasting school, it did not take, but I love the line, brevity is the soul of wit.
I agree. But you don't live by those.
I don't at all.
At all.
I don't at all. I'm the opposite. Because I spent time in radio, right? And I'm like, we can't have dead air. We need to stretch this shit out. So
you're really good at that. You're the opposite of somebody from Pittsburgh.
Well, I'm also. I wasn't in Hamlet, so.
Yeah. Okay, so these are a couple of things that Curt Cignetti said this week. He said, as always, it's more about us and doing what we can do. All right. On our defense, multiple scheme. Oh, on our defense. When asked about our defense, Nebraska's, he said, yeah, they got a multiple scheme, big guys inside, deflect a lot of passes, and play a lot of people. They have quality special teams because they put not us. They do. Indiana does. They have a quality special teams because they put a big emphasis on it and they make all the coaches watch special teams video. What?
I'm just, before you get to that next one, a little disclaimer to the Chatterfields. Let's just keep it above board on this one, okay? Go ahead.
I'm not going to say it. No.
You got to.
No.
I cannot give a disclaimer and then for you to chicken out and not read the quote that, by the way, you pulled and put in the notes, so you have to read it.
Well, he's saying it and I'm typing it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right. He said, good evening, Josh Hansen. Curt Cignetti said about us, they spread the ball around. They had, no, not about us, about them. About them. They spread the ball around and had 10 guys touch the ball last week, which he meant the week before. Okay. You're such a teenager.
That's fair. That is a fair and accurate assessment.
Oh my goodness, Greg.
But you know what a teenage boy can't do? Drink a beer on the internet.
I know.
Or maybe they can. I don't know.
Greg, do you think that you are up to doing that little thing that I sent you earlier?
I'll be honest with you.
You're not going to do
it. I need the phonetic. Okay. Do you want? I'll do it. I just don't know if I can do it real well in the voice.
Okay. Before you do that, I went to all the trouble to even
I know you did
a visual.
I know you did. That's why I'm willing to do it.
Really? That's why?
Yeah. Because you put, ladies and gentlemen.
No.
Oh, shit. Okay.
Do you have it in front of you?
Yeah, I've got the script in front of me and everything.
Okay. All right.
I didn't listen to my.
Go ahead.
No, I didn't have a chance to listen to my Signetti reference material.
Okay, that's fine. I don't care.
Okay.
You're going to do the best you can. And do you want me to play the other thing first?
Yeah, everybody. We're going to do something we're going to do something different, and I don't know how it's going to turn out. So be nice.
Stop everything. Stop.
But
okay, it's going to be fun.
But Minnie puts together a thing, and we're going to give it a go.
Do it. Okay, here we go. All right.
All right. To set the scene, Bloomington, Indiana, Memorial Stadium. I don't remember Pittsburgh accent now. Hey, Coach Rule, welcome to Bloomington.
Hey, Coach Signetti.
Balls to the wall. You know, we're very process-oriented in terms of what we do. Control the controllables. Humble and hungry, no self-imposed limitations. Improve every minute, every day, every rep. One play at a time. Buy into that, okay, and just improve and see where the process takes you now. And that's what I tell my team. It's a standard. It's an expectation. A high standard, a high expectation. It's accountability. It's discipline, commitment, toughness. It's wanting to be great. It's wanting to be normal. And normal kind of equals average. To be great, you got to have special focus, special commitment, special preparation, and discipline. You got to stack great days on top of each other. Play the game the way we want to play the game, one play at a time. I win. Google me.
I tell my team, one rep at a time. I just want you one rep at a time. I don't want you getting pulled out. I don't want you thinking about the score. I don't want you thinking about shit else, man. Believe in yourselves. Believe in the process. One snap at a time. RDV. Every snap. What's next? Play like brothers. Play like brothers. Pick each other up. Help each other out, man. We've said a lot of things. It's people feel us. I'm tired of people not knowing who we really are. They say a man who gets down on his knees has forgotten how to die. I tell them, you fight. If it means you die, you fight. You fight. You fight. You take for once what we want, and enough of this waiting for something good to happen. Who's the guy that's supposed to make the difference? I'm surrounded by him. Go Big Red.
That was fun. I clearly did not at all do a Pittsburghese accent. And living in Omaha, David Matney, the official realtor of the Five Heart Podcast. So why not just play the clip from the actual press conference? Well, the reason being is because that'll be a copyright strike. So we try to have some fun, and we try to entertain. And you know what? Even Roger Moore, who says this is what hell looks like. That's some version of entertainment. Melissa, like, this show's getting crazy.
I just thought it would be fun if Matt Rule and Curt Signetti had kind of a conversation talking about the way that they talk to their teams. I mean, it's kind of similar. And I thought Matt Rule actually, we'd emphasize how much better Matt Rule is.
Yeah, Matt Rule's much better. Now for something completely different. I'm confused and scared. Milk drunk. Look, I don't care, Roger. The surrender whites are still worse, okay?
Jeez. Try and give the people something different.
I love this. Nebraska Tebow's like, I'm not understanding. I can't finish it. I'm tilting my head like it could be like, what? If we act, we act.
Okay. Well, good try. You were supposed to have a better accent.
I was. I told you I was not prepared for the accent like I wanted to be. So, you know what? Here's the thing. Minnie took the time to put that little intro together, and I've got more elements to that intro on the way. So you can expect more of this.
Who knows?
Roger Moore is going to adopt a puppy now. It's probably good. I'm definitely not going to read Fred's comment. All right, Minnie, let's get back on track, shall we?
Okay. Oh, yes. I think we have some other things to show people. Okay, let's look at how Nebraska.
This one from Melissa. It's okay. Have groin poised or moist in it.
She says, Melissa says, this show keeps everyone on their toes except for Dion. Wah, wah.
Dustin Watermelon Caesar. That's it. I want my money back for this audiobook.
Okay. I just thought, okay, wouldn't it be fun to do a coach dialogue every week? I mean, it could be really fun. Think about it.
All right, but next week
what would these coaches say?
I got dibs on Matt Rule.
No. You mean I have to be Ryan Day?
Yeah. You got to get like a fake beard and Sharpie it black.
You know I will.
I know you will. That's the crazy part. Mary Ann, thank you. Mary, you might have just elevated yourself to my Chatterfield of the week this week. There's there's an award. I don't know what it is. David beating us up with the actual coaches, he says. We're just trying to have some fun and not get YouTube strikes, man. Do it every week and watch and make John watch. That's awesome.
What the hell are they doing?
I'm surprised John. I don't know where John is tonight. He's usually here, at least popping in. All right, so let us move forward as we approach the end of the show. We're in section 5 of 5.
Okay, but first, okay.
Oh crap!
This is well, I had a graphic.
I know.
And
the C graph.
Oh, he does say C graph. You're right. Okay, go ahead.
Okay. So the Indiana Hoosiers averaged 47.5 points and 515.7 yards per game, 315.3 yards per game through the air, 200.4, not the splitting hairs, yards per game on the ground. Quarterback Curtis Rourke on the season has 1,752 yards, 14 touchdowns, 2 interceptions on 118 of 160 passing. Their leading receiver is Elijah Sarat, not sure. 29 receptions, 513 yards, 2 touchdowns, followed by Omar Cooper. Cooper? Make sure I'm Cooper. Okay. Omar Cooper Jr. has 18 receptions for 375 yards and 3 touchdowns. And Justice Ellison leading the rushing attack for the Hoosiers, 409 yards and 6 scores. While Tyson Lawton has 68 carries for 329 yards and 7 touchdowns. So probably more of the workhorse, but maybe Justice Ellison has a little bit of that extra gear breakaway speed that allows him to have more yards. Not really sure. Number of carries, Justice. I'm looking here. Yeah, I mean, handful of fewer carries, but more yards per game, but less touchdowns. So.
Okay. Good job. Compared with, all right, here we go. Whoops, wrong one. Here's Nebraska's and Indiana's statistical ranking comparison.
Yeah. I mean, look at that offense. Look at Indiana's offense. They lead the league in 3 out of 4 offensive categories. They're top 4 nationally in total offense and scoring offense. But again, I'm not here to dismiss. They haven't had the toughest schedule so far, and I think that I don't want to say that gets overlooked, but I mean they have wins over Florida International, Western Illinois, Charlotte. There's
Western Illinois is not a good team at all.
No, and that was I mean, when you talk about the average points per game and things like that, I mean, obviously they put up 52 against Charlotte, but 77 against the Western Illinois. I mean, that's that can skew the stats. But they beat UCLA. A little welcome to the Big Ten to UCLA, and I believe that was Indiana's first game ever in Pasadena at the Rose Bowl. They won that one 42-13. League wins over Northwestern and Maryland, but those 3 teams are on the bottom of the Big Ten. So I don't really know what to make of this Indiana team. Yes, they can score points and they can put up yards, but they're doing it against not the best competition. And I know that if we were in their position, like if the roles were reversed, if we had their schedule, we started out 6-0 and we're number 16 in the country, I still think that there's a pretty strong contingent of Nebraska fans who'd be like, Paper Tiger, like we haven't played anybody. I don't know if Indiana is feeling that way. I think they're just excited to be 6-0. They're the back half of their schedule. Looks like us, Washington, Michigan State, Michigan, Ohio State, Purdue. So I'm looking at they're going to have probably at least 3 losses in their next 6 games. But for Indiana, that's still a good season. If they go 8-4, 9-3, Indiana Hoosiers fans are going to be tickled to death.
Except for the fact that Kurt Signetti says, I win. Google me. Like a threat.
Okay, but
135 wins to, what was it, like 30 losses? Something crazy like that. 41?
Let's see here.
I had the stat on there and I erased it.
125 and 35.
Okay. Yeah.
He's
coached Division II football. He's coached Division I football, which was kind of like at the bottom of Division I, Sun Belt Conference. And yeah, that's his. Sorry. Am I throwing shade?
At me? No, I'm just.
Okay. Was your eyebrow twitching? What's going on there?
I was, you were giving stats and I was trying to follow along and I was struggling. That's all. That's on me.
Okay. All right. So, yeah. And he's the first-year coach. Granted, that's the thing that gets me, is that they changed the rules that coaches can now bring players with them. And it just doesn't, it's just like waving a magic wand. All of a sudden, okay, bam, you can bring your players that you've been coaching all these years.
Yep.
And so, I mean, but he, like I said, his players that he brought with him were from James Madison. Not a great team. I mean, good for their conference. Great team for their conference. but in
definitely
comparison
not
to the Big Ten.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, and kudos to them because they went 12-2 a couple of years ago, in 21, and I
think they won a conference title every year he was there.
Part of that was the pandemic too. And they didn't start there. James Madison, they didn't start. Nebraska played games in 2020.
Uh-huh.
But James Madison and other smaller schools, I suppose, it said here again, according to Wikipedia, it says the 2020 college football season delayed with makeup dates scheduled in the early 2021. I guess then that was when they thought it was going to be. Then they adjusted in 2020, so they went 7-1 in 2020, 12-2 in 21. So I don't know. It's still lower tier football at the end of the day, and yes. I'm just not. Look, I'm not sold on Indiana stepping in as a conference powerhouse. Like that's ridiculous.
It kind of is, isn't it? Just to think of it, going back to Diamond Dave's comment earlier.
Diamond Dave.
Yeah, I agree. It is kind of ridiculous when you put it that way. Okay.
Oh,
well,
good Lord, Carl. No, what are you thinking? Need to bring Jim Moore to be head coach at Nebraska. Carl, that is not the first ridiculous thing you've said tonight. I cannot wait to get into the starred comments and touch on some of the other ridiculosity that has made its way into the chat tonight. So, yeah. What else do we have, Minnie?
Well, let's see. Oh, that's all I have. That's it. Yeah, that's it. Well, Greg.
Yes, ma'am.
What are you doing? What are you doing?
I thought I heard a weird sound, like a battery like a children's toy that has batteries that makes noise, but the batteries were dying and the sound was fading away. It was kind of creeping me out. So I had to make sure that I had to state it a certain way because our group. These beautiful bastards. All right, I'm going to put that away. That's what she said.
Okay.
I'm going to put everything back the way it was. And then, Minnie, I'm going to start. God dang it. I'm going to start going through some of these starred comments.
Okay. Let's do that.
At 9:00, Fred said, Cobby looks like it's escaping Minnie's brain. Oh, because we had
on the new fat faces thing?
Oh, yeah. Tremendous.
Yeah, that was Greg's idea.
And I'll be there in a jiffy. Remember, the 5 jiffy is all that you need. Where are we starting tonight? Disarray, like usual, looks like. Thanks, Fred. Thuzera, I'm going as Nebraska's running game for Halloween. There may not be a scarier costume. So that's a good one. I appreciate that one. Warren, I don't know how we missed this earlier. Warren was here at Colorado week. It says, see you buff in the building. And all in capital letters. So Warren, I don't know if you stuck around. We did give you the shout out that you were hoping for. Fred says, is this where Minnie hobbles Dylan and says, I love you, pumpkin? When you talk about misery.
Oh, that's right.
How quickly you forget. Tisk.
Tisk.
Let's see.
I love you, pumpkin. Don't leave me.
Rostovsky says UCLA and USC traveling to Maryland and Rutgers this week. Woof. Yeah, that's these are the in-conference road trips that I was so happy to hear. And again, make zero sense because But a handful of years ago, neither one of these teams were in the Big Ten. And I know you say a handful more years, Nebraska's not in the Big Ten. You're right. But this one just seems weird. I'm still not sold on the West Coast being in the Big Ten. Talking about Boom Cheney, he gets knocked down, but he gets up again. Little Chumbawamba reference. Appreciate that, Husker Chuck. Let's see. We'll come back to that one. Living in Omaha, David Matney, the official realtor of the 5 Heart Podcast. Is it weird? I don't feel like special teams will lose us a game. I think if Andrew Curtis, by the way, saying this, I think if it was to happen, it would have been against Rutgers. Stats say if you have a punt blocked, you lose 90% of the time. I think if you have 2 blocked, it jumps to like 95%.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
So, again, I think it's our lack of being able to finish, because if we had a kicker, like a place kicker who knew what he was doing, we wouldn't have gone into overtime against Illinois. We wouldn't have lost. So I think it's on that end of it as much as on the punting. But I definitely understand where you're coming from on that, Andrew. Rostowski says, my main man, George Darlington, will help get him protected. We can only hope. We talked about who Melissa likes more or agrees with more. She says, sometimes I agree with Greg,
Minnie.
and other times Minnie.
She meant Minnie.
Pump your brakes, madam.
Yeah, that's what she meant.
That's not what she meant.
All right.
Husker. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it is. I've always got her back. I've always got her back. She's got mine, and that's how best friends work.
I just think she agrees with both of us, but I do think it's like 70-30 me. I'm just saying. Husker Chuck says Indiana will be our 5th opponent who is undefeated when we play them. That's an interesting stat. I didn't know that. I guess you could say same like UTEP was the first, but obviously first week of the season. Melissa says if Dylan doesn't play better, we are done.
That's ridiculous, Melissa. I know he didn't mean that.
No, that's okay, because the next one's even better. Melissa says, Minnie, you need to let Dylan get some sleep because we're going to need him.
Really? 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 You had to highlight that comment. Mm-hmm.
It's funny. Okay, I'm sorry. Andrew Curtis says Carter Nelson needs to play more. I think we're all in agreement. Let's see here. Let's pop in on some of the live ones real quick. Does White Claw come in a delusion flavor now by any chance?
I don't think so.
Okay. Oh, Greg, don't go anywhere because I have your comment right here.
Okay.
Do you think Nebraska will beat Indiana? Now, the only reason I'm saying this right now is because Greg's about to leave.
Here we go.
But
Greg,
this is a great time. Hold on.
Can we just call him Stemple to make it easier?
No.
Can we call you something else then, please?
I'm going to say something to you that my mom said to me years ago. Doesn't matter what they call you as long as they call you for dinner.
Okay. What would you like us to call you, Greg?
Greg.
Greggle.
Just call me Greg. So we always do, Greg, at the end of the episodes when we do predictions. We'll get to them, which now is where I'm going to tell you, good people in the chats, whether it's YouTube, Facebook, or X. Now's a great time to put your predictions in so we can get to them. And Greg Stemple, if you're still with us, hang out for just a few more minutes. The fact that this show is not going 2.5 hours is kind of astounding, but I'm here for it. Yes, ma'am.
And listen, I am sending out stickers to those who get the prediction correct. So
yeah, we've got.
I need Justin Raji to still email Greg his mailing address, and then Joe Lalakis, if you're still around, if you would email Greg your mailing address also, please.
Right. Please and thank you. Also subscribe and smash that like button. Thank you, Andrew. Appreciate that. Let's see. All right. Fred says Signetti sounds like a 90s cop show, and those people whose names end with a vowel, the worst. Wait a minute. But you're one of those people whose names ends with a vowel too, Fred.
They are the worst. I agree.
Sacco and Mahachko. I don't know.
Weirdos.
I wasn't alive in the 70s like some people on this show.
You're just pushing it.
That was good. Aaron Keene says, I'm still stuck on the all whites decision. That's an effing travesty.
What the heck? What the heck is going on here?
I don't know. I'm doing the show. I don't know what you're doing.
Right. It's utter betrayal.
Are you for predictions or for the all white uniforms?
Predictions.
Okay. Are you highlighting them for me?
Yeah.
Okay, good. Carl says, I would love to see a shock Indiana with the triple option. I would too, but I'm not going to hold my breath that it's making its way in the playbook. And then Carl says, this is when we talk about the ridiculousness that Carl Pence was bringing to the show tonight. He says, if Huskers get the W this weekend, Greg should get his nipples pierced with Nebraska N. And I can assure you, there's going to be no bet. There's going to be no deal. There's going to be no wager.
I kind of like this idea.
There's going to be no bet. There's going to be no deal. There's going to be no wager. I will never get any part of me pierced. Period.
What if it saved your life? Would you?
I mean, like I've donated blood, but I'm not like there's not a piece of metal that's going to be permanently affixed in my ear, nose, navel, or other places that's going to be saving my life. Like I'm like, no, just let me go. Let me go to my eternal reward or eternal damnation. But I'm not. Carl, that's one of the most insane things. Like I've been doing the show for a long time, and I've been doing the show live for, every bit of a year and a half now, maybe a little more. That's one of the crazier things that I've come across.
You know, it's crazy because if I were a dude, I would totally take that bet.
Also, I have inverted nipples, so
you have not. Maybe it would help. It might help.
I don't need them. Keen, come on, dude. Don't sheep have ear tags usually? Yeah, ear tags, not udder tags. Oh god, dang this. Melissa says OMG.
Okay.
Josh says, are we really wearing all whites? I was late tonight. Josh, you're late like every night. And
okay, so
sadly,
guys, in order for the all white uniforms to work, we need to wear white on Saturday. Okay, that's what this means.
I thought it was a blackout.
Blackout?
I thought they were saying, hey, when you travel to Bloomington, wear a blackout. Like wear black.
I've not heard that at all. Who says that? Yeah, no. I'm not a dude.
I think statistically, and I've not seen them all. I don't have the research, but I think statistically more females have them than males. Okay,
I don't want to. Can we weren't even supposed to talk about this.
Fun story. I had a roommate. I had a roommate when I was in Nebraska. Prior to being a BFOTS, Josh Hansen's roommate. He's a guy I worked with. He was in a band, and he had gone up to Sturgis during Bike Week with his then girlfriend, and he had got both of his pierced. And a few months later, he's moving some of his electrical equipment as an amp or speaker or something like that, and the corner of the speaker caught on the and ripped it out. So
you love movies.
Yeah, that's Meet the Fockers. No, Meet the Parents. Oh, sorry, Meet the Parents, not the Fockers. Fockers was the sequel.
Hey, Greg, I've got nipples. Can you milk me too? Okay. Moving on.
Yep, probably. Let's see.
All right.
There, yeah. Aaron Rostovsky says it's hard to put together an easier non-conference schedule than Indy had. Yeah, we talked about that again. Charlotte, Western Illinois, and FIU. So, 100% agree.
They basically brought all the teams that they were playing in when he was at Elon and James Madison to be his opponents.
I can't believe.
I don't know how that worked out.
I don't know, but I can't believe you started that comment. I'm going to unstart that comment and pretend it didn't happen. I'll tell you off the share. This is a Fred comment, if that's any indication. Husker Chuck says, Illinois versus Michigan. Who you got? And remember, this is the Illinois game. They're celebrating 100 years of Memorial Stadium. No, I take it back. They're celebrating 100 years since Red Grange. So they're doing the throwback uniforms. Who you got? Illinois versus Michigan in Champaign, Minnie?
Illinois.
I do too. I don't know why. I just got a weird feeling about it. Living in Omaha, David Matney, the official realtor of the 5 Heart Podcast.
Greg, what do you want to bet?
We just agreed on the same thing. I don't think there's a bet to take place there.
Okay,
but
you're right.
I promise you there won't be a bet that involves any metal going through parts of me. Living in Omaha, David Matney, the official realtor of the 5 Heart Podcast, says, if we can pull off a win, do you think we move back into the top 25? Minnie?
Yeah.
I agree.
For some reason, that's how it works.
I'll say this. If we win and it's convincing enough, I don't know, because there's always that anti-Nebraska bias. I say if we win, we're probably 21-22 next week in that range. I don't think we limp in at number 25, but I think we're upper 20 or lower end of the 20s in that regard. So,
well, I mean, who's in the top 5 right now? I forgot.
It's like 3 Big Ten teams, I think.
Are we talking AP poll?
Sure.
All right.
Melissa says, Fred, what did you do?
Texas, Oregon, Penn State, Ohio State, and Georgia.
Yeah.
Indiana is 16th.
Rostovsky says we're
22nd. Sorry.
No, that's your question. I said Rostovsky says we're like 27th now, easily top 25 if we win.
Nice.
Let's see here. Fred says when we beat them, Rule needs to sing "The Boys Are Back in Town" and yell "Frank Burns eats worms" at the 50-yard line. Let's see here. Carl Penn says, I think we will hammer Indiana. The Hoosiers are way overrated. Just
I like that here. Comment. Good one, Carl.
This is good. This is great. Living in Omaha, David Matney, the official realtor of the 5 Heart Podcast, says you can get your boob lights pierced. Hey, so it would take some work. I'd figure out a way to do it. It's more.
Pierce
the boob lights.
It's not very difficult.
It's fine.
You would not do it. Would you do that at least?
No. It's way too much work. I'm not betting anything.
Come on. You are so not fun tonight.
I'm not even finished with my second beer yet, Minnie.
Okay.
Dustin Waterman says, I'm really just here for the Fred Sacco comments. And by the way, that kind of kiss-assing is exactly what Fred appreciates around here. So, Pitt says, boob lights do come with chain pulls.
They do.
And Fred says, Dustin Waterman, thank you. Also, I'm sorry. All right, so let us get into some of the shared predictions from the Chatterfields. Melissa was the first one in and says 31-21 Huskers.
Okay.
Trev, the terrible experiment, says 28-24 Huskers. Can't wait for Saturday.
Me either. It's 9 a.m. here.
Yeah.
The time they play. That's early. Another early game. Okay.
At 2 Brute, living in Omaha, David Matney, the official realtor of the 5 Heart Podcast, says Indiana 31-13.
That's what I meant. He's a traitor.
Highlander Gun says 21-17 Huskers.
Okay.
Mr. Aaron Keene says 22-21 Huskers, thin margin due to those bleeping all whites.
We have to support our guys and wear white too.
I'm going to be wearing red. Because they can't see into my living room, Minnie. They don't care.
But it does make a difference, Greg.
I don't think it does.
Yeah, it does.
I highly
it does. It does.
Sorry, Pod Mother. I apologize. Pitt. How hard is it, Greg? Says 73-13. Legal smoke rocks. That is definitely a prediction.
Okay.
Justin Raji, Nebraska 31, Indiana 20.
Okay.
Joe Laleka says 35-17 Husker dub.
Okay.
Andrew Curtis says 30-28 Nebraska wins, or NU wins, but same difference.
Nice, Andrew.
Carl Pence 51-16 Huskers W.
He's awesome. Yeah, Carl, I want to live in your brain. That is awesome. I agree.
Carl, do not invite her to live. Diamond Dave, the real deal, Double D Diamond Dave, 42-17 Skurs.
Look at him showing up with a big score.
You're welcome, Dave. Dustin Waterman says Nebraska 28, Iowa 13.
Okay.
Now I've got to double check, see if there's any more.
There's been some that have come in. I scored 1. I scored 2. Or starred 2. Excuse me.
Oh. Josh is not great on the spelling, but since Joe Laleka stole my score, I'll say 24-17 Huskers.
Okay.
And Frederick Sacco says I'm sticking with Nebraska 20-9. We get 20 because we fuck up an extra point.
Okay.
Living in Omaha, David Matney, the official realtor of the 5 Heart Podcast, says Diamond Dave just wants to remain on good terms with Minnie. It's probably not going to hurt his cause. Let's see here.
Okay, I have a question. And I'm going to pose this question prior to you and I giving our predictions, okay? But I want to take everyone's response after.
Oh gosh, okay.
Because this is the key right here. Does our defense give up any rushing touchdowns at Indiana? Quit yawning when I talk.
That was completely unrelated. Like I said, I don't get a whole lot of sleep, and the sleep I do get is not great. Do you have the graphic of the Iowa or Indiana stats again? I know I don't see it in the thing anymore. Let's see if I can let me see if I can just pull it from. So they have They have 13, I think 14 maybe combined rushing touchdowns. They don't have anywhere near 1,000-yard rusher or 1,000 yards on the ground. I think it is bold prediction. I say no.
Not that bold, because there's a lot of people who agree with you, Greg.
Well, you know.
And I would say our chat knows what they're talking about.
Vince Watson wants to know, is Nebraska still the only team not to allow a rushing TD after, at this point? Yes. They're the only team in FBS to not allow a rushing touchdown. They've done it through 6 games. Let's see. Mr. Raji says he thinks it does happen. Melissa says not this week. Highlander Gunn says no. Carl says many in garbage time after we are already ahead 51-0. But I do think that that's a point of pride for the defense is to, the ones are great. The two's not terrible. But you got like Greg. Riley Van Pop. Yes, ma'am.
I said after you and I give our predictions. I have not had a chance to write these down. Now I'm going to have to take notes again when I rewatch it.
Okay. I say no. I said no.
Yeah.
What do you say?
Well, no, that's not. I was wanting to know what other people said.
Yeah. And that's what I said. Raji said yes.
Okay.
I thought I followed instructions. I guess I didn't. I'm sorry, everybody.
No, because we haven't given our score predictions.
That's what I meant. I'm sorry. Well, they got. You shouldn't have asked the question right now. Then you should have let me do score predictions.
Well, I wanted them to think about it.
They didn't have to think about it. They knew their answer. Melissa says no.
I got it. Okay.
Highlander says no.
I got it.
Carl says yes. Aaron Keene says no. All right. I don't think it happens this week either.
Okay.
Fred says we won't give a rushing touchdown versus Indiana. They score on chunk plays. They won't get into rushing touchdown territory. Mr. Matney says yes.
Okay.
BFOTS Josh Hansen says, I say we never give up a rushing touchdown again, literally the next 20 years.
I'm keeping that prediction.
That'd be fun. Mr. Lilakis says 1, but late in the game.
He has a caveat. Yes, but don't worry, it'll be late.
Pitt is yelling at me just like you were.
What did he say? Damn me, Greg.
Yeah. Andrew, the question was, is Indiana going to, or is the Nebraska defense going to yield a rushing touchdown to Indiana this week? So feel free to answer the question. Raj says, no, they won't give up a rushing touchdown. He says, I don't think so. Andrew does. I don't think so. Even if we lose, we hold strong.
Okay. This is good.
Trinidad Lopez says yes.
Trinidad.
I don't know. Trinidad's new. Trinidad maybe here for the other team. I don't know.
Okay, 1, 2, 3.
Dustin says no.
Okay. Guess what, guys?
Balin Gardner says, God bless you all. Have a good end of your week and an awesome weekend. Every day should be awesome. Thanks, Balin.
Thank you.
And I said no, and you said no. And it was not a mini approved response. Sorry, David.
Yeah.
All right. My score, or my prediction. Actually, I know my prediction. I don't know your prediction. What is your prediction, Minnie? I'm writing it down as I keep track of all of this.
$28. $10.
Fred says
Nebraska, in case other people were like, because I know there's a couple people in chat that don't think we're going to win.
Trinidad. Fred says Trinidad stops by for a cup of coffee, gets mini evil eye.
All right, Greg, yours?
I made this prediction. I'm standing by it from the Coronation Overreaction. I say 35-20 Nebraska. Because
that high of a scoring game, huh? Wow.
I think we're going to have to go for touchdowns because we don't know how to successfully kick field goals.
Oh, low key just chimed in.
I just saw that. I was Nebraska 14, Indiana 10, low key.
Ooh, he thinks it's going to be a low scoring game.
He does.
Low key. Because, I mean, Indiana has scored some points. They put points up. Be interesting. I can't wait. What?
I was trying to figure out it. There we go.
The end?
Nope. I'm backwards because this is.
What are you doing?
I was trying to point to Nebraska. I was trying to make a big deal out of Nebraska. I'm sorry. I won't try to make a big deal out of Nebraska anymore.
Maybe you should put lights around it like I have. See? If you want to highlight it, light it up.
Husker Bob says 30-28 Huskers.
Okay. And I don't know if you guys that came in late heard the question or not, but the question was, does the defense give up a rushing touchdown? So if you want to chime in on that.
Aaron Keene says, it's kind of late in the evening for a Mahachko interpretive dance recital. It is never too late for a Mahachko interpretive dance recital. And by the way, because this chair does the things that this chair can do, I could spin around right now. I'm not going to.
We don't need you to. Melissa.
Melissa, bringing the heat, says Minnie. They used to put red lights in working houses. Do you know what a working house is, Minnie?
Well, I do know about the red light district, so I assume it's the same.
It's the same.
Thanks, Melissa.
Roxanne. Aaron Keene says, damn, Melissa is on one. Carl says, OMG.
Jeez, you know what they say, with friends like you, who needs enemies?
Yeah, I'm telling you, that's why she agrees with me 70% of the time. Minnie, what do you say we call it a show?
We did it.
We did it.
401 in the books, baby.
That's right. Next week, 402. That'll do it. Fred says, Jesus Christ, Melissa, wow, just wow. Guess she don't agree with Minnie no more.
It's obvious. All right.
Oh, what a great
there's a little riff in the friendship, but it's fine. You know, best friends always go back and forth.
Aaron Keene says, less than 2.5 hours. I'm confused. Same. What am I gonna do? We're gonna hang up this call and I'll be like, nah, I gotta be with my own thoughts for the rest of the night. So
or go to sleep since you've been yawning all night. Jeez.
Yeah. Again, I don't drink. I don't sleep very well. And I don't sleep long. It's let me get my spiel out of here.
Okay.
I said it last week. I'll say it this week, and I'll make a better effort to say it each and every week. I'm exceptionally grateful for all of you, the Chatterfields, who come out and make some fun with us on Thursday nights, 9:00 Central. It is God's favorite time zone. Thank you to Minnie for all the effort that you put in from the images that you can put together, the graphics, things like that, all the effort that you do, the format. Thanks. It just exceptionally appreciative of everybody here tonight. There's over 400 of you. Most of you are not interacting in the chat, and I encourage you to find a way to get over to YouTube and be a part of this community. It's something special. And when you see the comments each and every week, when Josh is late, everybody's razzing him for being late. It's I struggle to put into words sometimes, but it's special. And so I really encourage everybody to maximize the opportunity. Just jump on YouTube and be a part of what we're doing here. So with all that being said, for my friend and co-host Minnie Hunt, I'm Greg Mahachko. This is the 5 Heart Podcast, where we remind you each and every week that 5 Heart is all the heart you need. Minnie?
Hey, Indiana. We win. Google us.
And if that's not a mental image worth going out on, thanks to Fred, you have this last one upstairs burn in your brain for the next week when he said Greg Prince Albert Mahachko. Fred.
It's a good nickname.
Do you know what a Prince Albert is?
Okay. But I'm thinking of the old timer tobacco. Just stop.
Do you know what a Prince Albert is?
Can we stop?
Okay. I'm just asking if you know what a Prince Albert is. You're like, it's a good nickname.
Pump the brakes. Okay.
It's